All right, hello everybody. Today I'm going to make this YouTube video trying to help somebody out. I saw a random question online and I wanted to see if I can help somebody. I'm thinking about making this into a series. So if someone needs help with ZBrush or anything like that, you can just send me a ZBrush question. I'll try to help you as best as I can. I really enjoy helping people with this, and I have no problem just send this out a little bit of time to help somebody with something that they're struggling with this program. I may have a little bit of background noise in the background. Hopefully, it's not too difficult with my mic settings and stuff. So I came across this question. This guy says, "I've been using ZBrush for a long time, but it's something I kind of just dealt with in the past. At the moment, I'm working on a character that has two identical objects, but they're not mirrored or anything, but have to be placed appropriately. As a workaround, I have an original version that is placed in the center, so I can just duplicate it, move and rotate it in place on the character. I suppose it's not a huge deal, but it's nice to have some pre-visualization, and it is a bit of a pain to have to reduplicate and move the object to see how it would appear currently. That is true. I have to show periodic updates too, so I have to do this every time I give an update. Of course, when it comes to the low poly, I can just instance the object in 3ds Max, but as far as sculpting goes, it's sort of a pain to keep doing this." That is true. That is true. I completely understand. Let's go ahead and update ZBrush. Not update. Let's go ahead and open up ZBrush and see if I can help you with this issue. I'm sure I will be able to. Hopefully, there's not too much background noise in this. So here's the first thing you want to do. So just for people who may be watching who don't know, he wants to be able to take non-symmetrical elements of his character, such as, let's say my character had a hat on and another hat right here for whatever reason. He wants to be able to make modifications to this hat and also make modifications to this hat, or better yet, make modifications to this hat and have it appear over here without having to take the hat, move it over into the center of ZBrush, modify it, and then move it back. He doesn't want to do that anymore. So let's go ahead and let's get to it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to the Initialize tab. And this isn't going to be that complicated. We're only going to go over the basics and what you need in order to get this done. We're not going to make this too complicated. If I do make it complicated, I apologize. It's my first time doing it. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Initialize, and we're going to go to Q Cube. We're going to delete our subdivisions first. And this method is pretty simple. Well, I can't really say what's simple because I already know it. You know, when someone else already knows something, they try to claim it's simple when it's really not. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our Z modeler brush. So let's hit B and hit Z and get our Z modeler brush. And then we're going to add some variation to this model. What this mode is going to allow us to do, it allows us to add some box modeling functionality to our character. Now, your character will not have to be low poly in order for you to do some of this stuff. So, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some type of differentiation to this model. So we're just going to add this little indentation here, just so we can look at the model later and know that this method has worked. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we want to duplicate this model. So how we're going to do that is we're going to hover over this poly and hit spacebar. And then we're going to hit Mesh to Brush. After we hit Mesh to Brush, it's on single poly. Well, what this is going to allow it to do is going to allow us to duplicate any poly that we click on. So what we're going to do is, for it to be self-explanatory, we're going to hit this poly right here, okay? As you can see, that polygon has been updated in this thumbnail. If we was to hover back over any poly and open up the menu by hitting spacebar again, we can go to Insert Nanomesh, and then we can go ahead and click and drag. And as you can see, that polygon has now been duplicated and dragged onto the surface of the mesh, and we can continuously do that all throughout the mesh. Now, the problem with this is it's where we want it, but it's not on the normal, first of all. And secondly, we want to duplicate the entire mesh, because I'm sure that's what you want to do. You didn't come here just to duplicate a face. That's not what you want to do. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to Mesh to Brush, and then we're going to do all polygons. What this is going to do is, instead of duplicating that one polygon, it's going to duplicate the whole thing. Now all we have to do is click, and as you can see, it duplicates it as a nano mesh right here. You can tell that by the orientation being different. Now, also the difference between a nano mesh and an insert mesh or an insert multi mesh that you can access via the brush menu is the fact that an insert mesh you can just drag out and it's not an instance. Same thing with multi-mesh. All right, so after we duplicated it, let's go back and let's go to Insert Nanomesh. We can click and drag it out, which is good. We just dragged out 2 versions of this mesh that we have. That's fine, but it's not aligned to the normal. So let's go back to Mesh to Brush, click Align to Face Normal. After we do that, now we can go back to Insert Nanomesh, click and drag. Now it's aligned to the normal of the mesh. We can even go to All Poly, and now if we undo that, I can click and drag it and it will appear on all the polygons. And let's go ahead and add another polygon here and see it'll even be dragged out to the new polys that we add, which is great. This is what you want, I assume. Now to the fun part, the instance part. Now let's go ahead and go over to Nanomesh. Nanomesh is over here in the tools menu. Let me go ahead and find it. Nanomesh, here we go. Let's go ahead and go over to Nanomesh, and as you can see, we have a bunch of different tools over here, which is really cool. Now let's go ahead and, for your problem, let's go ahead and hit Edit Mesh. Now the cool thing about this is, once again, you don't have to center that mesh anymore, because even though these meshes are all over your character, all you have to do is hit Edit Mesh. It'll center that for you. Takes out a lot of guesswork out of your process. And let's go ahead and make another modification here just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to go back to QMesh, and then I'm going to go to single poly, and then we're going to make another groove here. So now we have 2 instead of 1. And as you can see, once we hit Edit Mesh, now we have 2 grooves on our character instead of just 1, which is really cool, and I believe that that's what you wanted. And also, if we go over here and we start playing with some of these settings right here, we can see that we can change the offset of our meshes, and we can also change the length of our meshes. And if we mess with the random variation, see we have 1. We can even mess with the scattering of our meshes. And the random size, if we wanted them to be random sizes, we can also mess with that right there as well. And there's a multitude of different settings you can mess with over here in order to generate some really cool and amazing and interesting shapes and surface details with literally little to no effort. You can even change the size of these. And another cool thing is, let me see if we can get this to work. If I was to change the mesh here, this is called a placement mesh. As you can see, the meshes scale with those changes. So this polygon is down here now. Originally it wasn't, and these meshes actually change with the changes that you make on here. It's not high polygon enough, but if you divide it a little bit and you start moving it around, these objects will actually move with it. Now, in order to make this into full geometry, let's go ahead and go to the Geometry tab and go to Convert BPR to Geometry. Now, as you can see, all that stuff is now full on geometry now. You can see by the colors, it's full on geometry now. So now I can go in, and just like I was doing earlier, messing around with the box modeling functionality here, let me go ahead and change the size of my brush. Now I can do it individually to each polygon. Oh snap! No, oh sorry. I think I got symmetry on. Non-symmetry operation canceled. I thought I just turned it off. Oh, okay. Let's go back to Z Modeler. Oh, okay, you have to hit B and Z to go back to Z Modeler first. Okay. It's a little tricky at first, but as you can see, I can go in here and I can mess with some of these polygons. It says non-symmetrical. I understand that. Why is it doing that? So okay, see, it works with this part. Let's try to get this little arrow figured out why it's not working right here. Single poly, all poly. I don't know why it's doing that. It's strange. I'm gonna have to figure that out and make an update video. But yeah, if that's how, I'm sure that this helped you. I mean, that's how you would do it. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and auto group it, and then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it this time with a custom mesh. So let's go ahead and try to make that happen. Let's go ahead and try to make that happen real quick. So let's try to isolate. There we go. isolate this, and this is going to be our main mesh again. Now let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's take all of these and we want to go to tool and we want to go to split, and let's go to split to similar parts. Okay, these two right here, they're like the children that got left away, that didn't follow the herd. I don't know why they didn't split with the rest of them. But let's say we wanted to create a custom mesh and use that mesh. Let's say that one of those objects on your character that's here or there in your character you want to use instead of messing with the box modeling functionality of ZModeler. How you would do that is you would take your custom shape, and we have a bunch of these because we're going to make insert meshes with these, but they're going to be insert multi-mesh. In order to follow along, just hit insert mesh if you have one object, insert multi-mesh from the brush menu if you have multiple objects. So all we have to do is go and hit insert multi-mesh. Now once we have the multi-mesh, now that allows us to hit M, and then we can actually select the two meshes from our subpalette menu. If we wanted to, we can go ahead and hit split to parts, and now it will split all those meshes up into parts. And then we go back to the brush menu, hit create insert multi-mesh, and then we hit the M key. As you can see now, all our subtools are now brushes now. Let me go ahead and select our brush right here. And if we want to use the Nanomesh functionality to make instances, go ahead and hit Nanomesh. Create Nanomesh. You have to make an insert multi-mesh or an insert mesh brush before hitting Nanomesh though. And after that, you can go ahead and insert your mesh, just like I showed you earlier. And you can hit the M key and change your mesh, and then insert it that way as well. So now you got the double ones right here, and you actually have the actual mesh right there. So hopefully that helps. Sorry for being all over the place. Like I said, it was my first time trying to make one of these videos and help somebody. As I continue to do them, I'll get faster. And if you need any help or anything further explained, please let me know. I have no problem helping you out with it. I think that's everything. That should get you going. And yeah, I hope you have fun with it. And I know this is going to save you a bunch of time because your old method, yeah, it kind of sucked. Kind of sucked. Not the method itself, but just doing it kind of sucks. So hope you have fun with this, and let me know how it helps you.